have roll call.
Okay, and I will be doing roll call tonight.
Okay.
Mayor Sigrist,
Present.
Vice Mayor Taylor Harden,
Present.
Commissioner Carlisle,
Here.
Commissioner Barnes,
Here.
Commissioner Martinez.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would you join me in a pledge of allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have the invocation, Jim, please?
Let's go to the Lord in prayer, and I would ask you to just bow your head in reverence with me at this time. Father God, we come to you with a happiness and reassurance that you've given us in our heart. Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you for this special day that we have had today in our community. Father God, tonight, I pray for our city manager. Lord, I pray for our mayor, for our commissioners. Father God, I think of our city staff and the hard work that they do. I pray tonight, Lord, for support, for direction, and for wisdom. And I pray for a reassurance, Lord, that, Father God, that you are with them. Lord, I pray and I ask that you be with them, that they could accomplish their work, Lord. I think of the duties that they have serving our community, and I pray a blessing for each one. And as I think as they come and they serve our home, our community, Father God, I want to come to you and I want to pray with thanksgiving in my heart for the sense of serviture that you have put within her heart. Father God, I would ask for my community, my home, to rally around the leadership that we have. Once again, I ask for a blessing. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
At this time, I would like to introduce the new city attorney. It's Lynn Kane.
Good evening, everyone. As she said, my name is Lynn Kane, and I just want to extend my gratitude to Mr. Burke for appointing me to this position. Also, my gratitude to the City Commission. I appreciate the opportunity to work with you. And I want to stress to everyone here tonight that my job as city attorney is to work for the city of Liberal, Kansas, at the direction of the majority of a quorum of the city commissioners that are here present before you tonight. Those are the individuals that you all elected to represent the great city of Liberal, Kansas, and those are the people that I look for direction, and that is my obligation as the city attorney, and like I said, I look forward to working with all of you and all the department heads as well, so thank you, Cal.
Excellent.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn.
Approval of the agenda.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda as is.
Second that.
Okay. Commissioner Barnes made a motion to approve the agenda. Commissioner Harden, second. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Minutes, approval of the minutes.
Mayor, I think on number 13, in regards to the Kansas LEAP program, we should add the amount of the contract, which was $9,388.35. It's not listed in the minutes. And just
It is
have it.
online.
Huh?
It is online.
It is on yours?
Yeah, it is
Oh.
938835.
Okay. Then we are good.
Okay. Okay. Any other additions or corrections anybody has? Have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. Second?
I'll second. Whatever.
Motion to approve the minutes and second. Any other discussion? All in favors? Motion carries 5-0. Under items from citizens, we're going to have to really limit things to 5 minutes tonight because we have a huge, huge agenda. So Who would like to be first? Hello, state your name, please.
My name is JP Harness. My address is 9.5 South Kansas Avenue. And I'm here tonight to discuss the city fees based on businesses. Particularly, let me find where it is. It's Exhibit C, sections 511, C511 through C516. I recently opened a tattoo and piercing parlor here in Liberal, and the city fees for me as an establishment is 100 times what any normal business pays, as well as liquor stores are 200 times that, and several other businesses have extended fees. And I'd like to try to get that taken back to where everyone is on a level playing field and no one is being discriminated against. Every other business fee here in Liberal is $5 for any kind of business. That's what it was for me to open my salon. And then when I came to open my tattoo studio, it just was exorbitant to me. So I know that's not something you all can vote on this evening for, but I would like to get that motion to be taken care of in the future.
Absolutely.
Thank you for bringing that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
What are the business fees for your?
For tattooing and body piercing facilities specifically, it's $500 a year. For massage parlors, it's $50 per masseuse. For adult entertainment businesses, it's $2,500 a year. For dance halls, it's $500 a year, or broken down to weekly or nightly, depending on the venue. For carnivals, circuses, and rodeos, it's $100 per day, and then for pawnbrokers, it's $25 a year.
So your fees are 500 and?
$500 a year.
What's restaurant?
Restaurant, $5. Unless you have a liquor license.
Yeah.
If you hold a liquor license, it's $1,000 a year.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Yep.
Not a
JP.
problem.
Next.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
I came here tonight because I've reviewed the memo for the drainage for the city of Liberal.
Quick, tell us your name, please.
My name is Tony Wisnat,
Yes, I know.
34 South Clay, Liberal, Kansas. And I'll try to be concise because I realize you've got quite a meeting tonight. I've reviewed the memo and I've gone through it, and here are the points that I'm going to make on that memo that I've seen. I know it's just a memo, I know it's just a start of things, but I want to kind of address things as we get going so we can really address it properly and not get anything into different directions. I believe the memo fails to accurately describe the route of the main tributary for the storm runoff north of 2nd Street, south of 7th, and west of Western. I also believe the memo fails to accurately describe exactly which pond at the airport is intended for improvement, and if I'm right about which pond I think is being addressed, the engineer's project would only affect one of the tributaries in the area and thus significantly fall short in addressing the drainage problem. I believe that the memo fails to consider or address my proposed plan to create a large enough retention pond which would more adequately handle the large volume of water in a flooding event. Further, the memo floats the idea of spending $2,850,000 of taxpayers' money concreting over the bottom and the sides of the 15th Street ditch from the Burger King entrance all the way east to Highway 83. Not only is this a fairly unnecessary project overall, but it would easily be taken care of by lining the bottom of the 15th Street ditch with a sufficient layer of heavy rock, like the rock recently used for the islands on North Kansas Avenue. Using rock instead of concrete would create a great savings for the taxpayers. In fact, it would be a monetary savings which could be used to adequately address the drainage problem through the central area of Liberal, where people, their homes, and their lives are directly affected. I'd like to email you guys copies of this, and we can discuss it. And if you need any pictures, or if you ever want to go with me out there to see what I'm talking about, that'd be great. Thank you very
Fantastic.
much.
Thank
Thank
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Tony.
Do you have our email addresses, Tony? Or-
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Next. Anyone else? Okay. Are there any items from groups? We're down to the consent agenda.
Make a motion, we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion is second to accept the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. We need to approve the cereal malt beverage licenses for Futura, and I can't pronounce this, OJINAGA and Mi Tierra. Can we have a motion to approve those?
I'll make a motion to approve the cereal malt beverage licenses for both locations.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve cereal malt beverage license for both locations. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Ordinance number 4496.
Mayor, Commissioners, the attached ordinance number 4496, which would vacate the 20-foot alley between lots 1 and lots 2 in Block 4 of the Hibbs addition to Seward County, Kansas. The Hibbs addition is located within the 3-mile extraterritorial surrounding the city of Liberal. This requires the Liberal Metropolitan Area Planning Commission to review and recommend the reversion of the subdivision plat to the City Commission for their approval. On January 11, 2018, the Liberal Metropolitan Area Planning Commission reviewed and approved to recommend the vacation of the 20-foot alley without conditions to the City Commission. A notice for the public hearing was published in the official newspaper, along with notifications sent to all landowners within 1,000 feet of the proposed vacated alley 20 days prior to the hearing on January 11, 2018. All surrounding utility providers were notified. No negative feedback was received from the landowners abutting the alley. There were no utilities located in the alley, and no utilities surrounding the proposed alley vacation will be affected. Public notice has been published for 2 consecutive weeks in the official newspaper on behalf of the governing body by the city clerk prior to February 2013 City Commission meeting. There have been no written objections filed with the city clerk. Staff recommends that City Commission approve ordinance number 4496 as recommended by the Planning Commission to allow the 20-foot alley to be vacated.
This is out there at Grondyke, is
It's
that
out there
correct?
at Klondike.
Got a motion to approve the ordinance 4496.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 4496, vacating of the alley.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Carlisle, second by Commissioner Barnes to approve ordinance 4496 to vacate the alley at Grondyke. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is ordinance 4497.
Mayor and Commissioners, back in April of last year, Pinnacle LLC came to the city and was granted a number of different incentives in order to build out their project on the north end of town. Specifically, Phase 1 has begun construction and it's actually getting close to completion. Rock Ormiston with Pinnacle is here to answer any questions you might have for him. But one of the incentives that was given to Pinnacle was a sales tax exemption for building materials on the two buildings, the restaurant and the hotel. In support of that sales tax exemption, it derives from industrial revenue bonds. Tonight, the ordinance you have before you is to authorize the issuance of those industrial revenue bonds. That will happen excuse me, later this month. The bond issue is an amount not to exceed $22 million. The bonds will actually be held by Pinnacle LLC themselves. Once this project, the construction on it is finished, the bonds will be held for a few more months after it's completed, and then that deal will be collapsed back into permanent financing that Pinnacle will obtain. If you're not familiar with industrial revenue bonds and their effect on the city, and if I get this wrong, Chris I'm sure will jump in and help me out here, but the business is responsible for the payment of any bond payments that come. The city is not responsible for those. The city holds title to the underlying collateral until those bonds are paid off, and that's what results in the sales tax exemption. These happen to be taxable IRBs, and so there's no property tax abatement that comes from the IRBs. And the total amount on the bonds when they're issued, I don't think it'll be 22 million, but it's not to exceed that amount. Those bonds will not count against the city's debt at all. In other words, they're bought in support of the business. The business will be responsible for the repayment. If this should go out, should be out no longer than a year at the very, very maximum, and then they'll be replaced by permanent financing. The idea is the bonds will go out until completion of construction a little bit further, and then they'll be collapsed. The ordinance number 4497 is for the I've got it written down here exactly, is for the authorization authorizing the issuance by the City of Liberal not to exceed 22 million aggregate principal amount of taxable industrial revenue bonds, Series 2018, to provide funds to acquire, construct, equip, and project a project for Pinnacle Developments LLC, and authorizing and approving certain documents and actions in connection with the issuance of said bonds. There are a lot of documents that you guys were included in your packet. Base lease, a lease, there's the bond indenture agreements. All those are authorized by this ordinance.
So you want all that in the motion?
It's in your packet.
I'll make a motion to whatever he said.
Adopt ordinance 4497.
Just adopt 4497, which authorizes the issue of IRBs.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to say, Jack?
Yeah, but I thought he was up to $22 million and all that other stuff, so.
Well, I will second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, signify. Go ahead. Motion carries.
Thank you guys very much for your
Thank you.
continued
Thanks,
investment.
Rob.
Jeff.
Thank you, Rob.
I'll scroll down. 50, 60.
Resolution number 2275, environmental abatement.
Keep scrolling.
Mrs. Mayor, Commissioners, by ordinance, the city requires licensed mobile home parks within the city limits to have annual inspections for code violations. In October of 2017, notice was sent out to all of the licensed parks advising them of pending inspections scheduled for November of 2017. After the inspections were performed, letters with complete list of all violations and photos of each were sent to the parks by certified mail. The last of the certified receipts came back in December of 2017. This has allowed more than 30 days to remedy any violations
which is a huge extent on, we only required to give them 10 days under city ordinance. There are still a lot of unresolved violations in the 9 parks. City staff seeks approval of Resolution 2275, which would allow for the abatement of the listed violations. Upon approval, staff will mail and post 10-day notices of the violations. All listed violations can be removed at owner's cost, cost the city anything. So the city's asking to, staff is asking to pass Resolution 2275 for the abatements.
How come we only do this once a year?
Because that's all it's required. Because it's such a big undertaking to get the staff out there to walk. It takes us a full week to walk around every trailer house and every trailer park in town. You're talking 450 homes, I think.
Are these ongoing violations that you had a year ago at the inspection time?
Yeah. We did vehicles last year, and due to staff changes and stuff, we didn't get the environmental stuff done last year, so some of them have been around, some of these violations have been around for more than a year.
Have any of them responded to the violations?
Some of them have. Some of the parks, the management came out and walked with us. I mean, they walked with us around everything. They made their own lists, and they were on the people before we even sent the letters out. Some of the parks, I don't think they've notified any of their residents that there are violations.
Absolutely.
So when we pass this, essentially, what are we doing? So then is the City of Liberal staff going in and cleaning this up, or?
The City of Liberal staff will go in there. We have a contractor, the towing vehicles off private property, a lot of the tow companies don't want to touch private property.
Right.
Last year, we worked with T&B Towing. They were perfectly willing to tow the vehicles. They hold them for up to 90 days, which is legal requirement, and if somebody comes and gets their car back, then they come and get their car back, and they can take it wherever they wish. If it goes back to the property still in violation, then it can be towed again.
Okay.
T&B has said, as an extension of that, they will also haul off like the listed violations, stuff just like general trash, appliances like stoves and refrigerators that aren't meant to be sitting outside, wood debris, exercise equipment, electrical equipment that's not meant to be sitting outside, oil jugs, furniture, car parts. T&B has said they would haul off all of that stuff at no cost to the city, and hold it for up to 90 days and dispose of it.
Okay.
Thank you. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2275.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2275. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Item number 10, adolescent support services.
We'll be quick.
Hello, Ivanhoe.
Good evening.
Good evening. All right, thank you. We'll try to stay in true form with your time limit here. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Ivanhoe Love Jr., the Director of Adolescent Support Services. I'm here to request your continued funding of the Seward County Truancy Program and Teen Court. Seward County and USD 480 have already approved this request. These programs are a collaborative effort between the 26th Judicial District, Seward County Commission, the City of Liberal, and USD 480 School Board. The 26th Judicial District provides a judge, a courtroom, and an interpreter. The 3 other governing bodies provide 1/3 each of the cost of the program. The Truancy Court program came into being as a request of the then Mayor, Tim Long, back in 2012. And reluctantly, I say reluctantly, I agreed to investigate the possibilities of establishing a program for the community. We consulted programs for truancy throughout the state of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. And based on our research, we put together an evidence-based program called Teen Court, Truancy Court. with the goal of improving the attendance and achievement of students struggling with truancy issues within the school district. The program consists of three phases requiring both the parent and the student to appear in court to give an account of the student's progress, which lasts about 6 months. This program, along with the cost, were presented to the governing bodies for their approval and was approved by the Kansas State Supreme Court. The impact of the program on the judicial system since 2012 has simply been outstanding. In 2012, there were over 170 truancy cases filed with the county attorney's office. At the end of the school year that next year, we had reduced that down to 36 cases filed with the county attorney. This past year, there were a total of 14 cases filed with the county attorney. We're proud of our achievements, and we've reduced the number of students reported truant from 161 in January of 2013 to 54 in the end of the year 2017. We currently have 12 active truants in the program. Our success is due in part to the prevention effort, working hand in hand with school officials, i.e. building principals, counselors, teacher, and attendance personnel. We are notified of potential truants, and we conduct a home visit to advise the student and parents of the situation. The truant officers conducted 466 home visits last year. We have completed 264 this year. In addition, the school allows our truant officers to access the classroom, so every student is exposed to the truancy policy. Now I would like to introduce a truant officer who has brought one student.
My name is Sarah Rogers, and this is my third year as a truancy officer. I'm just going to give you guys a rundown of our numbers. So far for this year, we've had 69 students reported truant. Out of those 69, 7 of them were ineligible for our program, which means they have been through at some point in time and have failed before. We had 11 that refused. Of the students that came into the program, we have released 3 of them successfully, 5 of them unsuccessfully. We've had to file with the county attorney on 3 of them for failing to complete the program. 2 students have signed out of school. 1 student graduated early. We have 2 that have withdrawn from the program. We've graduated 1 student so far this year, and as Ivanhoe said, we currently have 12 that are active. And with me, I have Abigail Cepeda. She is a senior at high school, and she is currently in the 2nd phase of our program. Well, she just moved to the 3rd phase of our program, and she's doing very, very well with us.
The truancy program has taught me to be responsible so that I can make it on time to school. I used to not care about being early or late or even showing up to school. This program has also helped me to keep track of my grades. It helped me to care more about school in general, especially since it's my senior year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
We normally bring a whole host of students, but because of the crux in time, we decided to limit it to just 1 student. And so we'd asked you, you have the documents that I've requested for your support, your financial support for the program. As I said, we've all the agencies have approved this prior to now, and we're asking you to continue your effort. Now, I'd like to move on to teen court. Teen court now provides an educational opportunity that allows both the offender and the teen court volunteer.
Let's make...
I was going to say, let's make a motion to approve the truancy before moving on to teen court, because I think they have to be separate. I'll make a motion to approve for the adolescent support services, the truancy program funding for fiscal year 2018.
I second.
You want to say amount?
Say what?
53.
Oh, I apologize. In the amount of $53,666.
Okay, did I hear a second?
I second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve the Adolescent Support Services Truancy Program in the amount of $53,666. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Chris?
If I might, just to clarify that these funds are budgeted within the crime prevention portion of the 1 cent sales tax.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. Sorry for the interruption.
It's all right. Love it.
Okay, motion carried.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. The second part of our effort here this evening is to introduce you to teen court. Teen court provides an educational opportunity that allows both the offender and the teen court volunteer to experience and better understand the American justice system. Teen court works to stop illegal behavior patterns by motivating them to improve themselves and was introduced into the community in 2015. After acquiring the support of all of the governing agencies, we conducted our first court in June of 2015. Since that time, we have completed 73 cases in teen court. And at this time, I'd like to introduce you to our teen court coordinator, Mike Aguilar.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Mike Aguilar, and I'm the teen court coordinator for Adolescent Support Services. I've been with them since May of 2017. Teen court is a voluntary alternative to the juvenile judicial system. If a student chooses to accept teen court, they will have a court hearing where they will be sanctioned by a jury of their peers. From 2017-2018 calendar year, we've had 31 juvenile offenders that we've signed up and have only filed on 3 students for non-compliance, which shows a high success rate for this program. We work hand in hand with LHS, where students are taught the necessities to serve as officers of the court. Today I have a student, Cheyenne Miller, who can share her experience with that.
Hi.
Welcome, Cheyenne.
I'm Cheyenne, and I'm senior at LHS, and I've been in the youth court class since last semester. And I've served as a jury foreman, a prosecuting attorney, a defense attorney, and a judge while in the program. And it's just a great opportunity for people who are interested in the justice system to prepare a case, to be in an actual courtroom and kind of get to see how that's like. And it's also really good for the people who get in trouble to have that chance before they kind of get too into the system. So it's really a great opportunity for both parties to see what we're interested in while giving back to the community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you really would like to take a look, and I encourage you to do so, is to attend one of these teen courts. They're absolutely amazing. Where you have every officer in the court is a student at the high school taking the course that's offered at the high school. Really, really a good program. So I'd like to ask you to continue to support it as well. You have the figures in your.
What days and time is teen court?
It's announced depending upon the violation. We don't have a set court date for teen court. Normally middle of the month or so, but it depends on the cases. If we're case driven.
Gotcha. And Chris, is this also budgeted out of crime prevention 1 cent sales tax?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. I'll make a motion to approve Adolescent Support Services Teen Court funding in the amount of $20,686. Oh, excuse me, $20,686.
There we go.
I'll second.
A motion and a second to approve Adolescent Support Service Teen Court in the amount of $20,686. Any discussion?
Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for your
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you, Ivanhoe.
Thank you, Ivanhoe. The next item is the electronic sign at Cooper Clark Park. Hi, Royce.
Hi, I'm sorry I'm a little nervous and quite full on pancakes today, so my apologies for that. Basically, what we're asking for today, before I start any project, I make sure that we're able to locate funds to start the project. And we do have the funds available to build an electronic sign in front of the library, which is actually located, if you're not familiar with how the library works, the library sits on a park, which is a really awesome relationship and something that I really don't get to say thank you to the city for, because when it snows, I know that the city is going to come out and clear the walkways for the people. I know when the grass gets a little shaggy, I'm not worried about getting a sunburn. There's going to be someone to come out and take care of the park. But one issue that it does create is we would like to have an electronic sign, but since the Cooper Clark Park belongs to the city, before we start down that pathway, and I hope you appreciate my Photoshop work on the signs that I did. That's just kind of a placeholder for the thought. of what it might look like anywhere. But really, what I'm asking for today is really just the permission from the city to go ahead and have the sign, but then working with planning and zoning to make sure that we follow not only the regulations for signs in the city of Liberal, but also for the Kansas Overlayment District that we're also in as at North End. And as just another selling point, I think, is, I really like the stretch that we have when we do the Pancake Day races. And I love the sculptural elements that we have right there on the north end for Pancake Day. And I think that just a sign like this gives us, the city of Liberal, but also the library, the chance to really kind of put our foot down on the ground and say, welcome to Liberal. One of the things that we're looking at is just, everyone talks to us about how they don't find out what's going on at the library. And we tell them we're on the radio multiple times a month. We're in the newspaper all the time. People actually have to look at my face way too often. And then we send out flyers, we have newsletters, and we really try to get the word out. But really, we live in a pretty busy society, and having a sign that people can see, timed right, of course, for the traffic that they can see in their vehicle when they're going down the main drag, I think would be really beneficial to making sure that my library board, most of them are here tonight, which actually warms my heart very much. We spent the last 3.5 years putting a lot of effort into making the library a really nice place. And right now, I think we're looking at the fact that we have a really, really nice library. And now we just want to make sure that everyone in town realizes it and is aware of the programs that we have.
Absolutely.
I can take any questions if you have them.
So you're just asking for a variance, that's all?
Just for a variance, just to entertain the idea. I've worked with Keith back there, and the city has really helped me fill out the application. We're kind of in that kind of weirdness where it's, you want to seek bids, but then you kind of want to show what it looks like, but then you don't want to spend the money to show what it looks like because you don't know do you know what I mean? So we're in kind of a little gray area, but definitely the one thing that is kind of sticking is just the variance for the Cooper Park Park.
I think that'll make a nice addition to.
I agree.
I think so too, and not just because I'm really awesome at Photoshop.
Oh, it's excellent.
It's excellent. And I'm just glad that you folks can't see it, and that I'm not graded on it. Okay, thank you.
There you go.
I contemplated bringing that in, and I was sitting in my car, and I was like, nah, let's let me hold off on that.
Is anyone on the commission familiar with the variance request procedure? Is it asked first through zoning committee, and then they approve it, and then present it to the commission?
Kevin, can you answer that for us?
Yeah, it'll have to go through a variance to be approved to have a sign placed in the.
Okay, does that have to go through one of your boards first before it comes to the city?
Yeah, the planning and zoning board will have to approve it.
Okay.
Board of Zoning Appeals, actually.
Right. So what you're wanting from the commission just kind of is a consensus that this is a good idea and a good project?
Sure, and I'm sorry, I was under the misunderstanding that I had to get
That it was the other way around.
So that's my apologies. Now I have to apologize to my library board because I'm sitting here tonight.
That's no problem at all.
Well, it's good. I think everybody here sounds like they're on board, but it has to go to them first.
Sure, and then that's the good thing too is like, here's the thing. This might be the only time I put an electronic sign in front of the library. I hope, because we're not going to do a bunch of them. Right. So really, we're looking at just doing a very slow process so that when we put that thing up there, there's not one of those kind of gotcha moments where we realize that we shouldn't have done something that we.
Yeah, that's fine. You need a motion support.
So since you'll need to go to the zoning commission first, what we'll do is I'll make a motion to support the library's intent to put a digital sign outside of the library.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to support the intent of the library to put an electronic sign in Cooper Clark Park.
Awesome.
All in favor?
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And once the Board of Zoning approves it, it won't come back here, it'll just stay, they'll approve it and then we'll go from there.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your input. Thank you, Royce.
Roll off dump trucks, number 12, from the Solid Waste Department.
Set your timer. You got 3 minutes.
Okay, 3 minutes, okay.
Well, we won't start timing it yet.
They having a gathering right now. Commissioners, Mayor, I'd like to present to you in regards to a dump truck, roll-off truck. The Solid Waste Department hauls roll-off commercial containers within the city for contractors and grocery stores. We've offered this service for over 33 years, okay? Using a 1985 Ford roll-off truck, which we've had that for quite a while. And as is written here, the parts are beginning to get kind of hard to find on it. And it's been cost efficient for us and very dependable. But due to the age, as I said earlier, the parts are getting hard to find, and we still have this service that grows strong. People still need it. So what we've done is went out and got chassis quotes from, that'd be Liberal Freightliner for $95,056 for an M2-106 conventional chassis, and also from Liberal Kenworth for a T370 conventional chassis. And we also launched out for $90,000 to Kansas City, Missouri at a company called Custom Truck and Equipment for another M2-106 Freightliner. So looking at those chassis, we looked at that for $89,976 from Kenworth Chassis. Also, to put beds on those, we looked at from Downing Sales, roll-off bed from Phillipsburg, Missouri for $42,919. Also looking at Armor Equipment, Galbraith roll-off bed from Arnold, Missouri for $40,692. And looking at Custom Trucks again and Equipment for $38,000. Well, after staff considered, we asking that you request that commission would consider a purchase from Kenworth Trucking and also a Galbraith roll-off bed to be mounted from Armor Equipment in the total amount of $130,690 delivered, okay, to be funded from the Solid Waste Equipment Reserve. We would ask that to continue to serve this community.
I make a motion, we approve purchase from Liberal Kenworth for the truck chassis, and also a Galbraith roll-off bed to be mounted from Armor Equipment in a total of $130,679.
Chris, real quick, do you have the balance of the Solid Waste Equipment Reserve Fund?
I believe we're around $640,000
Okay.
in the fund, I believe.
Thank you.
Did I hear someone want to second that?
I'll second that.
Thank you,
What do you think? Frankie, I know me like.
Okay. We have a motion to purchase from Kenilworth Trucking Chassis and also a Galbraith roll-off
Yes.
bed to be mounted from Armor Equipment in a total of $130,679. Is there any discussion?
This Liberal Kenworth, what it needs to be.
That was a budgeted item we worked on too, wasn't it, Frank?
It's all-
Earlier in the
well,
year.
Yes, we budgeted, but it wasn't budgeted, but we always went from the reserve with it.
Oh,
I
okay.
always kind of used the trucks our best I could, and then when time came that I would have to, I'd step up to the plate. So I'm stepping up to the plate tonight.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
All right, I thank you all so much.
Thank you very
for
much.
Thank
helping
Good luck,
me
you,
to do
Kenworth.
my job.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Have an excellent night.
Mini excavator.
Okay, purchase of mini evacuator, what is that, evacuator?
Excavator.
Oh, I'm sorry, excavator and trailer from the water department, sorry.
Well, first, let me do the introduction here. This is Jose Rosales, who has stepped up to be the interim water director in my absence. And since he kind of just got dumped on, I told him I'd help walk him through this first time around. Because, anyway, good evening. One is we have a Mini X, which has got quite old, and presently it's in the shop. In the first bullet point, Cal made a mistake. I looked at 17's budget because we had budgeted strictly backhoe, but our 18 budget had a Mini X / backhoe / trailer for $100,000 in the budget. So what we're looking at is, to purchase the Bobcat from White Star. Bobcat is the only one that makes you extend the hoe in a Mini X. I've been to several trade shows. I did last year have a company say, we're gonna try and get one out this year, and I'm like, well, thank you, and when you get a few years under your belt, we will look at it. Because they weren't quite sure, they didn't even have it engineered yet. And then White Star was honest, their sales rep says, we can't compete in the trailer market, they told us to go local. Hills Truck and Equipment gave us the best price on the trailer. And so we're requesting to go ahead and get the new Mini X in the trailer. At this time, we'll keep the old Mini X in service as long as we can. Right now, it's sitting at White Star being repaired and a little bit higher than we thought, and they forgot to call me and tell us what the bill was gonna be. But once they split it, it really didn't matter. It was either fix it or it's junk. So we'll keep the two Mini X's, and we are looking at, out of this $100,000, we'll pay that repair bill. And the backhoe, we're looking at possibly replacing the motor later on, because it's basically in good shape. It's the motor's starting to blow a lot of smoke. So we're gonna stay under $100,000 for the water department and basically end up with 3 pieces of equipment that's in good shape.
So that's all combined then, Cal?
Yeah, well, actually, all we're asking for right now is for the Mini X and
backhoes later,
and the trailer, and to let you know that there's a bill coming from White Star in excess of $10,000.
Okay.
I mean.
So will the purchase price for both of these be $50,295?
If my math was correct, but don't trust me.
And will that put you guys at the water department in any predicaments on vehicle purchases for the rest of fiscal year 2018, or do you see you guys still having a surplus?
This was strict, I mean, we are out for quotes on a 1-ton truck, but was also a budget item. The $100,000 was budgeted strictly for backhoe Mini X/trailer. We kind of covered our bases on the budget. You got that in front of you, Chris? Wasn't it $100,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Taylor, it's 50,795.
Yes.
It was 50,000 what?
$50,795.
Ah, thank you.
Totally not a trustable man.
I will make a motion to approve the purchase of a new mini excavator and trailer for the water department in the total amount of $50,795.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of a Mini X and trailer in the amount of $50,795 for the water department. Any discussion? All in favor?
See, they weren't that tough. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Just have better math than Cal, will you?
I got that.
How you doing, Tim?
Good.
Good to see you.
How's everybody?
Good.
All right. Mayor, Commissioners, before you, I come with a budgeted item. It's the replacement of our Netmotion server. To kind of make it clear to everybody out here what the Netmotion server does is, and I'll try and make it as quick as I possibly can without getting too deep. It basically allows for the connection of the computers in our police cars to connect back into here. It was originally purchased in 2011. It's been running 24/7 since then. And I think it's just about at the end of its lifespan, its life cycle. So this is a budgeted item. We looked at replacing this, last budget season. So what I did was I went out to 3 different vendors, spec'd out a Lenovo 1U chassis. It's a Lenovo RD350. The specs are in the memo. Got 2 quotes back from CDWG, SHI, and then I had a local vendor get back with me on a quote for a similar system. It's not a Lenovo branded product. I'm not really exactly sure what brand it is. It's kind of a generic chassis. The internal components are identical to the Lenovo stuff. I've never worked with this other brand of chassis before, the Lenovo stuff. We've been running for many, many years, and it's just rock solid. The 3 different quotes we got came in like this. Professional Business System quoted us at $3,931. Shipping was not determined on the quote. CDWG came in at $3,853.85. Shipping was included. And SHI was the lowest bid at $3,653.53, shipping included. We budgeted $4,500 for this particular machine back in June of last year. That $4,500 also included a 20% contingency just in case markets do stupid stuff, things in the overseas, factory shutdown or whatever, which will drive the cost of things up. We didn't use that 20%, so it came in under that by quite a bit. So,
which one are you more comfortable with?
The Lenovo stuff. From a technician aspect, their warranty service is outstanding.
How long of a warranty?
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years, all parts.
All parts and labor. And the thing I like about the Lenovo stuff is it used to be IBM.
Mm-hmm.
So IBM techs work on them within the warranty period. We currently utilize our IBM tech comes out of Golden City. He's serviced our IBM equipment for longer than I've been here. And literally, you contact him one day, the part's here the next day, he's fixing it for you. So, in that regard, it's some very, very good.
And then that $3,600, Chris, that gets split, so the
3 different ways.
3 different ways.
Yeah.
And
the communications is portion of it's kind of weird. It's what, a 60/40? It's 60/40.
Communications department is a 60/40 split between city and county. But communications maintains their own budget. So what we would do is, if approved, we would allocate a third of it to the police department budget out of the general fund, a third of it to communications budget, and then the other third, I think our initial try would be if they can invoice the sheriff's department directly. If they can't, then we'll make it work and make sure to maintain our budget.
Okay, perfect.
So, other than that, it's strictly we're replacing the machine before it decides to go bad on us, and then we're stuck in a pickle.
Excellent choice of unit.
Yeah, it's a robust machine. I kind of overspec'd it for the long haul.
You didn't want to go with Server 2016?
Not yet.
Now, this model, if I remember right, this is going to be a long-lasting model because these are capable of like 128 terabytes of memory, and is it the model that has 8 chassis for hard drives on the front?
No, it's a 1U.
Okay, it's a 1U.
It's just a four hard drive chassis. It's a basic direct replacement of what the existing machine is already. So,
perfect.
We could fit more over there. It's just, it would be kind of overkill for what it is.
I make a motion that we purchase the Lenovo server from SHI in the amount of $3,653.53 to be split 3 ways between the Police Department, Communications, and Seward County Sheriff's Department.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion to purchase the Lenovo server from SHI in the amount of $3,653.53 to be split 3 ways between the Police Department, Communications, and Seward County Sheriff's Department. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank Tim.
Number 15, Housing Department.
Good evening, Mrs. Mayor and Commissioners. This evening, I'm here to request an item that we budgeted last year as a pickup for our department. I did send out requests from 9 vendors in the area. Chris had given me names of who they used on their last vehicle purchase. I received 4 bids, and they're listed. I would defer to you to make the decision if approved, who you would want to go with on that. The pickup will be used, we have 2 construction sites right now and only 1 pickup, so I think it would come in handy for my staff to have each a pickup.
Is that common? What's been the history as far as number of construction sites? Is it pretty common, or is this kind of like a one-time thing?
It's probably going to be more common.
Okay.
We haven't had 2 construction sites in the past, but...
At the same time.
Right, at the same time. Well, we have, but we've made it work.
Just as a question, since we just purchased 13 vehicles, 2 months removed from where we're at now, do we not have any surplus vehicles already in our fleet that could be utilized for this purpose?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what they're doing with the vehicles.
Yeah, if you took a look at a lot of them vehicles, they were
The ones that
trashed,
were
you know.
replaced were rough, I guess. What we were looking at, we have a trailer that we haul, and the pickup that we have right now doesn't do a very good job of
Need a
that.
3/4 ton probably.
Is this coming out of the 1 cent sales tax, Chris?
It's proposed to come out of the housing and community development portion of the 1 cent sales tax.
Well, that totally violates the purpose of the 1 cent sales tax in housing, to buy a vehicle, totally and completely. It's not in the plan with the 1 cent sales tax for housing. So I'm not in favor of doing this. I don't know how anybody else feels.
Is there another fund, Chris, that it could come out of, or something that we need to look for the 2019 budget?
Well, I suppose if the commission wanted to pursue, we do have a equipment reserve. I know that, in the past, we have, in conjunction with our self-help program, I know we've done certain expenses in the past out of housing and community development, but, that's certainly a commission decision.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we purchase this vehicle, but if we can find a different route then, if that'll make things better.
Should we make a motion to table it? That way we can have necessary time to do the research? I mean, just...
Like I said, it would be possible to utilize the city's general equipment reserve, which for the most part is funded, from the mill levy, property taxes and whatnot, so.
I'd like to make a motion that we table the discussion of the purchase of the vehicle, just there, because your next point's about, continuing grants and that. I just want to make sure that we can foresee that we have a long-term need for the city. And
that was part of my decision.
Doesn't Tony need to undo his motion?
Did he get it made?
Yeah.
He made it.
It died for lack of second.
Yeah, I don't think anybody seconded, so.
No, nobody seconded his motion.
I will second the motion to table this discussion until next meeting.
We have a motion to table the vehicle purchase until the next meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries to table this item.
The second item is, I have a request from USDA to apply for a grant, another self-help grant, which would be our 5th grant in total. They have requested that we do that. I wanted to, before I get too far on that, get a consensus of if that's what the commission would like to pursue. If we do, we will do a resolution at a later time, but before we get too far into this, to get some guidance.
how many homes does each grant?
We've
A
done
lot.
18 under each grant. We actually did 19 under one. We did an extra one, but we've asked for 18 in the past. I don't have a place to put 18 houses right now, so that would be another concern or consideration of the commission of support for that or future help in looking for the property to do that with.
Do you have a lot of demand? Do you feel that you have demand for that?
We do.
Many homes?
We have a steady pipeline of people. We have a lot of applicants. We have a lot of interest. We haven't had too many problems with putting groups together at this point. We've had a lot of community support and families that, you know, sometimes we have a sister or brother who will also build a house after, or a daughter. You know, it may not get a lot of publicity, but we do get a lot of interest.
Are the homes on Purdue and Jewel, are those self-help?
Part of the ones on Jewel Street are, and part of them are spec homes that are being developed by Marvin Chance. Marvin bought that property. I helped him to get a moderate income housing grant for the property to put in a sewer line. And with that, we were able to make the lots affordable, and he agreed to sell 5 of the lots to us for self-help. So we're building 5, and he'll build 8 there.
Okay. And those on Purdue are?
On Purdue, they are self-help, yes.
Self-help,
Do you have any, does your department have any ideas about where the next 18 could go, or?
Well, I'll have 2 lots, and I'm not sure that those aren't in a flood zone when we're finished, but I've had interest in one gentleman developing some property with RHID. The property has just been platted into the city. I can't make a commitment on anything like that. There are people who want to develop property, but as for lots that are already developed, I don't know of any.
So you have until May to do this?
Yes.
Okay.
And who's gonna fill out the grant?
I do that.
You do? So it's not gonna cost us anything to have something?
To apply for the
Go ahead
grant?
and pursue it.
Oh, no, that doesn't cost anything, just.
How long do we have to build?
Most generally 2 years, but we're 2 years past our 2 years right now. So one of the things, as long as we're going, you know, as long as we're showing progress, that we keep the grant. The last time I applied for a grant, it was upon the request of USDA, and I almost had to do it in a few days. I had begun it, and they wanted us to apply almost immediately, so it was one of those that we had to do pretty quickly. So we actually got the grant a year before we were ready to start building.
Well, I make a motion that we pursue another grant with the USDA for self-help housing.
I'll second that.
We have a motion that we pursue a grant for self-help housing. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion failed.
The last item I have is a Union Pacific grant update. You'll be seeing Parks and Beautification Department on over by the railroad tracks on Kansas Avenue. They are developing a project. We got an $8,000 grant from Union Pacific, and they're putting a beautification project there. It's on Union Pacific property, and it's their funding.
Perfect. Thank you for the update. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay, item 16, crack seal bid award.
Mayor,
Hi, Dave.
Commissioners, I'm bringing before you guys the annual crack seal project bid award. On Thursday, February the 8th, 2018, City staff opened the annual crack seal bids. The project was published on a official paper, and 9 invitations were sent out to vendors. 2 bid packets were requested. The city received 2 bids, one from B&H Paving out of Scott City, Kansas, and the amount of $0.898 per pound, and Circle C Paving out of Goddard, Kansas, and the amount of $0.959 per pound, and the total cost is not to exceed $150,000 budget. They will cover the areas south of the railroad tracks and east of Kansas Avenue. the insurance that requirements of the bed bond on order.
For the other commissioners, B&H Paving out of Scott City has been the one been doing it since I've been here.
Yeah, so they were cheaper, 6 cents, a little bit over 6 cents per pound. But if you say 6 cents, when you're gonna do 150,000 pounds, it's quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
What were they last year? I thought they was 86 cents
they
last
were
year.
97.
It was 97?
Yeah, so they came down because they had competition. The years before, we sent out the invitations, nobody compete with them. And this year, because he has competition, so he came down. Really,
So
he
we
came
get
down
a
almost
rebate
10
for the
cents.
other years?
So I think, we come out ahead on this one.
Okay. Make a motion to approve B&H Paving of Scott City, and the total cost not to exceed $150,000.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to hire B&H Paving of Scott City, Kansas, and not to exceed $150,000.
And this is part of the chip seal also, so I'm gonna have to come back because the areas that we crack seal, we also go back and chip seal. So
Okay.
it's just part of that.
Thank you, Dan.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
Motion carries. Thank you. Airport, 5-year FAA capital improvement program.
Good evening, Your Honor, Commissioners. This evening before you, you have 5-year capital improvement program that is to be submitted to the FAA for funding consideration. A couple things have changed. For instance, the perimeter fence was added. It was at the very bottom of our list. When we had our inspection with the FAA in January, a coyote ran across the runway, across the field, across the taxiway, went underneath the fence of the golf course. They didn't like that, so that has now been moved up the list. And of course, that's all subject to them finding funding. Not real sure if it's going to happen in fiscal year 19, which starts October this year. So we've added that to the top, and then everything else has gone down in the listing. Just would like to get your consideration so that I can submit this to the FAA and that they can put on the list and try to find funding for us. This would be a 95% federal funded program, 5% local. And you have the dollar amounts.
Where do we normally fund the 5% local from?
It's come out of sales tax. Is it the economic development portion?
I believe if airport land sale funds are available, then we can utilize those, but in the past, we've actually allocated matching funds out of the economic development portion of the 1 cent sales tax.
Of course, this is all subject to funding availability. We wanted to get your authority to go ahead and get it and submit it to the FAA.
I make a motion, we go ahead and submit to the 5-year FAA capital improvement program.
Second? Okay.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to submit the 5-year update program to the FAA. Any discussion?
Can't believe there was a coyote,
Yeah. Expensive coyote, huh?
Yes, indeed.
The only one they've seen in 30 years.
All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Stay here.
Think you did. Oh, you still gotta go, don't you?
Okay, you're ready to do the Arcalin, aren't you?
This evening, we have 2 board appointments for the Arcalin Council, created by the expirations of terms of Robert Hiddle and Pam Purvis. Mr. Hiddle is not eligible for reappointment because he has served 2 4-year terms. Pam Purvis was appointed to an unexpired term, so she is eligible for 2 4-year terms. So the Arcalin Council met and discussed the one resume we have on file, and they are recommending that Pam Purvis be reappointed and appoint Renee Jackson for 4-year terms ending December 31st, 2021.
I'll make a motion that we approve the appointment of Renee Jackson for a 4-year term and reappointment of Pam Purvis for a term 4 years ending December the 31st of 2021 to the Arcalan Council.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to appoint Renee Jackson for a 4-year term ending December 31st, 2021, and to reappoint Pam Purvis to the Arcalan Council for what did you say?
4-year term.
4-year
4-year term.
Okay.
Right.
Any discussion? All in favor?
And I would also like to recognize Mr. Hiddle for his volunteerism for serving for 8 years plus on the Arcalan Council. He is in the audience tonight, if we could give him applause.
I'm understanding you do a lot of work out there, right? Yes, we appreciate that.
Yep, thank you for your tenure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mayor, City Commissioners, I'm presenting to you tonight a list of projects and repairs needed at the Arcalan Park. There's been a lot of work done, but there's a lot that still needs to be done. First of these projects will be repairs to the dams on ponds 1, 2, and 3. We was mentioning Squeaky on the work that he's done. Him and some other folks have been working very hard for the last year and a half trying to build that road up to try to prevent water from going over and possibly losing those dams. So it's still a concern. Earl's Engineering was out there, I believe, last week. As far as that dam on 1, 2, and 3, their recommendation is removing the breaking up and reinstalling of the concrete slabs that are currently in place. To do this, they're recommending that the water levels be dropped by at least 2 feet. That way we can have access to that. What is happening is those concrete slabs, basically what they are is the old sidewalks and stuff, they're taking them out, laid them out to try to prevent the erosion. While that was good at the time, the water has got behind it and started creating holes behind those. So that has to be removed. Those holes need to be packed with clay, and then riprap needs to be put in place of that to try to prevent the future erosion. Second would be the removal and transport of the crushed concrete from the airport drag strip to Arcalan Park. We've moved some of that last year. What we're using that for is as we build those roads up, we put it on top and help hold those roads in after the caliche is packed, watered down and packed. The estimated cost for these two projects would be around $20,000. These numbers are based on previous projects involving these roadways and material handling, basically from last year. This is a major concern for us. A big portion of that concern is because we already lost a dam about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. The windmill pond did wash out. All the debris from that pond came down into pond 1, and basically we've kind of run out of room. Ponds 2 and 3 are within 6 inches to a foot of going over already. The third, we'll touch on the windmill pond reclamation. The dam has yet to be addressed. While Earl's Engineering was out there, they presented a proposal for repairs and replacement. Cost for repairs to the existing dam, Earl's estimated at $40,000. They had Stoffel Dirt come in and look at it, and Stoffel Dirt is recommending that instead of repairing the dam, that we go downstream and build a new dam, for the simple fact that any contractor that goes in there to repair the existing dam, they do not know the material or how it was built. So trying to fill in a void, you may just push the problem on down to the next.
Where would they like to move this?
I do not know that.
There's any ideas out there?
I don't know what they're proposing as
They're
far
just
as where to go.
proposing to move it downstream a little bit from the existing dam. And
And he's also soft-sold the other 2 dams that we're trying to do. Pete has basically said that if we do not get these repairs done almost immediately, we'll probably lose the 2 dams within the next year. There was actually a hole in the top, and I believe Mr. Hiddle visited one because it was dark, and there's actually a hole. I've got pictures, a big hole in top of the dam.
Yeah.
We're in dire need of getting some work done out there.
And I haven't seen it, but I've seen it's kind of a concrete culvert, and I believe that's on Pond 2, isn't it, Squeaky? Pond 3. I was told that there's actually water seeping through that culvert coming out of the ponds. If that's not addressed, eventually that dirt will erode and that will be gone. That Pond 2 will be gone, which means Pond 3 is gone. We're down to 1 pond and water is flowing through.
Talking to some of your board members, they thought they could do this a lot cheaper if they got the equipment out there, sheet foot.
We have discussed options for doing that. Once again, we run into that problem of transferring that liability. We don't know, we can take dirt and fill material and start piling up and create a barrier to try to fill that windmill pond back up with water. Nobody on this board is an engineer. Everything that we do is volunteer time. Most of us volunteer our own equipment to go out there and work. So to say that we're going to be able to go out there and fill that void and be able to hold water, yeah, we might be able to, but I'm not going to guarantee the city anything.
And I would feel comfortable if Greg Stoppel probably says it's not a good idea, and he does a lot of that.
Yeah.
I would probably follow his recommendation. But we can, basically, I think in-house with the board, make the repairs and get the water levels down on the other 2 dams and probably save them just by getting water level down and doing some work on them. I think we're capable of doing that in-house.
Yeah, as far as the removing that concrete and stuff that's a barrier right now on those dams, an excavator, a couple skid loaders, one with a breaker, we could do that in-house. That's not a problem. It just takes 2 or 3 guys with some equipment to remove that and break that and repack.
Yeah.
That dam is an old railroad right-of-way dam is the one that has that rip.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Just as a question, I apologize if I'm missing this information, but what is the total cost we're looking at for all 3 of those items? And what is it itemized for items 1, 2, and 3?
Total cost for all 3, I would say it's going to be $75,000.
Now, you guys...
The 20,000 is just an estimate based on what we've done in the past. That has not been run through an engineer or anything.
Now, Chris, Arcalin, they get about $55,000 a year budget for this kind of stuff out there?
They're actually included within our general fund. They do get a portion of the Arcalin ethanol water sales. However, one of the struggles we have for 2018, I don't know that we have $75,000 for repairs budgeted out of the Arcalin fund. Even though they get the revenue, it's been allocated, not to the repairs.
Do we have this money?
Well, that would be, does the commission have a suggestion of where you'd like to fund this from? And I apologize, up until this point, I wasn't even aware of what dollar amount we were talking about for the estimates. Would you have a suggestion?
Can we go right now, maybe 20,000 to fix the 2 dams? And then wait till the budget time and come and do the 55,000?
Out of the 3, is that the most pertinent one to get adjusted right away?
I think if everyone agrees, I would think that ponds 1, 2, and 3 would be our number 1 priority.
Yeah.
Because we lose that, we've just lost everything.
Yeah.
And the key thing is the windmill pond is going to be essential for us to get the dissolved oxygen that we need just by the way the ponds flow, because that's why we had a massive fish kill last year.
Yes, we did.
It really wasn't the quality of the water that was going there. fish usually die due to lack of oxygen. And so I would like, I would think our goal would be to get the ponds back so that we have fishing available again.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
And
I would say we
20,000
lost several thousand fish last year. I mean, it was just
So is
scattered.
the 20,000 gonna do that, or we gotta go the whole 75?
20,000 would fix our roads and probably the dam.
But it's not gonna do the windmill
It
dam?
will not do the windmill. The windmill will be a
But
very big project.
I can work with Chris and maybe we can look at, maybe, get some donations or something, some grants from somebody who would be willing to support this type of thing. And the other thing is, without the dam, the windmill dam, we're sending more water to the Cimarron, which goes to Oklahoma, which I know we have at least one gentleman in the room that doesn't like our water going to Oklahoma. I won't mention any names.
Just as a question, Chris, just from looking at the figures that you have available, how much money do they actually have set aside that we can consider budgeted for items 1 and 2 on this?
Well, I'd say that included in the budget would be like the normal, the campus fees, the operational park expenses and whatnot. So like I said, a major repair like this, I wouldn't consider this that we
budgeted for it at all.
One thing I would suggest, and I don't know, maybe talking with Debbie, I realize that this is kind of an urgent need. I know that we've been putting away some
$8,000
funds
for equipment.
for the last 4 or 5 years. So it could possibly, I guess in reference to the initial 20,000, I think we could probably cover that to start with, and then, as
I think we ought to do the 20,000.
And then try to table it, try to figure out the budget.
Then he comes back here in another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll work on the 55,000.
Yep.
But we need to get those dams started right away, not 2 weeks down the road.
I would say pretty quick, because we're looking at opening the park in the middle of April, so
Right.
we're only 2 months away from having,
And the other,
the 1st of April. So we're a month and a half away from having the public in.
And our Kalen Park is completely separate from like our Parks and Rec and all that, right?
actually, that's kind of a unique thing. It says Arcalen Park, City of Liberal.
It is a city.
So I'm not exactly sure how this came about, because the way I interpret the sign, it is a City of Liberal Park. And
Well, let's,
so I'm not sure, but the other thing is, while we got it before I forget, they have approached me about because getting the concrete slabs out, they need somebody with a backhoe. Would it be possible for us to maybe use some city personnel and our equipment to give them a hand, so the volunteer board is not doing everything for us, and we really appreciate their help.
Yeah.
We really do.
Yes.
Because they have done a great job.
Oh, yeah.
For nothing.
Thank you.
I mean, for,
Yeah, well, I appreciate everything you guys do.
I was going to suggest too, depending on the interpretation of park, we have funded some other park renovations out of our 1 cent sales tax. So that could be a possible scenario too. But at the same time, I guess my question, so we don't have all of the estimates in. I mean, are they finalized, or?
As far as the windmill pond or the?
I think
the
we're
first
mostly ballpark numbers.
Yeah, on the 20,000 is ballpark.
Just say not to exceed.
Yeah, not to exceed.
20,000.
Say not to exceed.
Okay.
And that covers items 2 and 3. The windmill pond is the $40,000 one.
Well, that would cover items 1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
Okay, got it.
The
Okay.
20,000 would cover 1 and 2
Yes.
is what you're
Yeah.
saying, okay.
I will make a motion to approve the renovation and repair of items 1 and 2 for the Arcalen Park improvements not to exceed the amount of $20,000.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to provide $20,000 for the windmill pond reclamation and repairs to dam and roads numbers 1 and 2.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
That's for dam 1 and 2, that's not the windmill pond.
Okay, yeah, it
Okay,
would be
so
items
it's 2 and 3.
2 and 3, okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
I amend my motion.
It's 55,000.
Okay, so I amend my motion to state items 2 and 3 from the Arkalan Park improvements.
Okay, for the items 2 and 3 for the Arkalan Park improvements not to exceed $20,000.
Yes, ma'am.
You're okay.
I'm looking at different paper.
Chris?
To be funded from the Arkalan Park Equipment Reserve?
To be funded from the Arkalan Park Equipment Reserve.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and get a second on that. and then-
I got a second on that.
Okay,
Thank you, Chris.
okay.
And should we also make a motion
No,
to?
we got
No, one at a time, one at a time.
Okay, all in favor? Motion carries 5-0, okay.
Now do we need to make a motion to
Motion to
table item 1 and reapproach once we have an opportunity to evaluate finances?
And bids, you bring bids.
Okay. I will also make a motion to table item 1 of the Arkalan Park Improvement Project until we received accurate estimates and had a time to find a way to budget it.
I'll second.
We have a motion to table item 1, Windmill Pond Reclamation, until we have time to seek funding. All in favor? Oh, we need a second, I'm sorry.
Oh, Jack, second.
No, okay, I'm sorry, you didn't hear that. All in favor? Okay, motion carries.
Does that help you all out?
Yep, that'll get us started.
Well, and we'll look forward to seeing you next meeting. We'll figure everything else out with you.
Okay.
Okay.
And that will be with the help of the city and equipment, correct?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
That 20,000?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then if you would, go ahead and go out and get quotes from Stoppel and try and get 3 contractors from the windmill so we can have something to go by.
Okay.
I mean, just get firm quotes. We don't want to do a sealed bid because then that way, that means we're going to do it and quotes were open.
Yeah, right.
You gonna talk to Tony Herman about hauling the,
Yeah, we talked to Tony before, and I believe he's the one to hold for us. He hauled a few loads for us last year, so we'll talk to him again.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
presentation. Thank you for everything you guys do.
Yeah, appreciate all of your volunteer hours out there.
Yep.
Okay, number 19 on the agenda, Juvenile Corrections Advisory Board appointment.
Good evening, Mrs. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I had submitted a letter to Cal
And he bailed out.
and was just told that this was something just to bring for information and just for you to prove. The Senate Bill 367 from, a couple years ago requires the first-class city of the 26th judicial district, or all the judicial districts, and within the 26th judicial district, Liberal is the only first-class city, so they have to appoint 3 advisory board members for the Juvenile Correction Prevention Services, and we have 2 openings, and recruiting is difficult, and so Royce Kitts and Chris Carlisle have agreed to do this and just need your approval.
So you still have one opening as well, right?
No, there is 14 members. I have, what's 14 minus 2 today?
12.
12. I can't think. I'm so tired. It's been a long day. So I have 12 members.
Okay.
And this, I think with the new statutes, I think the Seward County Commission had appointed most of them, and so I'm wanting to do what the law is saying to do now. So the next one I have come up will be a city appointment as well, when that other person decides not to be on the commission anymore or something.
I'll make a motion to approve both of the applicants to fill the positions for the Juvenile Corrections Advisory Board. Oh, do I need a name? Both applicants as Royce Kitts and Chris Carlisle.
You have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Chris Carlisle and Royce Kitts to serve on the Juvenile Corrections Advisory Board. All in favor? Motion carries.
Abstain.
Oh, okay.
Christie, I'm not, are you going to be back here July 1st asking for the city to appoint again or not?
No, I think did I word it correctly, that this, I had to change bylaws, and so this is kind of finishing out, and so everybody starts anew July 1, so they're, I don't, your 3 years starts July 1, but it really, they're filling the rest of the 3 years for this other person now.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
The vote was 4.
It was 4 with one abstain.
One abstention.
One abstaining.
She'll beat me up when I get home tonight, so.
Okay, federal funds exchange supplemental agreement.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. The city currently participates in the Federal Fund Exchange Program with the Kansas Department of Transportation. And essentially, this program enables us to trade either all or a portion of annual federal fund allocations with KDOT in exchange for state transportation dollars on an annual basis. And these monies can be used to reimburse our road maintenance and construction expenses. The program has changed slightly, and to my understanding, the two areas that have changed, they have, one of them, they used to allow us to bank funds. The initial year that we entered into this, we had several years of funds, and so that one was quite a large reimbursement. But however, with the new agreement, they've actually placed an annual cutoff date of September 15th. So that means that anything for 2018 that we expend would have to be submitted by that time. So staff has reviewed this document, and currently their rate is 75 cents of state funds per dollar of federal funds. You know, it does, I guess, it makes things easier to, meet the requirements and whatnot. So with that, staff would request commission consideration to enter into the Federal Fund Exchange Supplemental Agreement with the Kansas Department of Transportation.
So for every dollar I send them, I get 75 cents back?
No, the way that works, the federal government allocates so many dollars available, and they will take that and convert that. For instance, we just received recent notification. We have federal funds designated for us in the amount of $242,832.21. And so that means through this program with KDOT, we would be able to seek reimbursement in the amount of $182,124.16. Because otherwise, the way I understand receiving federal, working with their program, I'm not familiar with what those requirements are, but I'm understanding they're not quite as easy to work with as KDOT would be.
We did this in the past, too.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We currently have an agreement, but they're just changing it to where implementing the September 15th cutoff, and then the ability to, I guess, determine the rates. Last year's rate, I believe, was 60 cents, so I'm pleased to see it increase to 75 cents.
Okay.
So, yes. The prior agreement would continue. This would just change certain elements of it.
Make a motion, we approve the Federal Fund Exchange Supplemental Agreement.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion to enter into the Federal Fund Exchange Supplemental Agreement. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes.
That's good. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
The next item is city sewer evaluation. I guess you're still up, aren't you, Chris?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. This item that you have before you was brought up at our last meeting, and we did confirm some specific dates. I know there's been a concern from the community about the drier than normal conditions, people wanting to water, and the way I understand, if you have trees, it would be a good idea to, if it's not already too late, to get some water on them, at least on the trees. But anyway, according to our current sewer evaluation method, we evaluate sewer charges based on the water usage during the billing months of January, February, and March, as per our code. And, the commission by majority vote can modify this evaluation period. So should the commission choose to end the cycle early, our opportunity would be to, as the city is allocated into 2 different billing cycles, the commission could choose to end the evaluation period as of February 2nd and February 9th. Should you choose to end it early. If we continue the way we are, then the evaluation period would continue to either March 2nd or March 9th. So I guess it's at the commission's option, should you wish to cut this early. And then I guess that would enable people to water outside of their homes, without affecting their sewer rates.
Well, I'd like to make the motion since I brought it up last.
Yeah.
The end of February 2nd and 9th, if that's what you need.
And I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Tony.
Yep.
We have the motion to change the sewer evaluation dates to February 2nd and 9th. Is there any discussion?
And just to clarify, if I might, this would affect this sewer evaluation only. The next time it would be back to the 3-month evaluation.
Next year?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
Okay. All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Chris. Okay. Earl's Engineering and Inspection Contract.
That would be me. Based on conversations with Danny and trying to do a little bit of better coordinating than what we've done in the past, 2nd Street from Kansas to Western is scheduled to be redone in 2019. However, from Clay to Kansas, that water line has not been replaced. In some instances, it's only about 12 inches deep. It's just barely underneath the brick. And so as part of our water line replacement, we need to go ahead and get that done before they do the streets. And we're just requesting for Earls to go ahead and design it, submit it to KDHE. We've got his estimated cost of about $240,000 plus his fees. And so we want to get out in front of this so that, hey, if we have the water line done in place well before the street's done. And then we'll set up a meeting with Black Hills, Southern Pioneer, AT&T, and all the other utilities to make sure that we're all coordinated so we don't have a fiasco like we did on Washington where we hit Black Hills line. So it's just part of coordinating and trying to get out in front of things. And in the same sentence, we also need to go ahead and look at approving a contract for Pete to go ahead and design the replacement of 2nd Street from Kansas to Western.
Excuse me, Kelly, that'll be from Washington.
From Washington?
Yeah, to Western.
Okay, Washington.
It's a little bit further than.
Yeah.
Where are we getting the money from?
That is actually targeted, and that's Chris's, and how much where was it coming from? It was scheduled. It comes out.
For the street construction, which, the way I understand, did not include the water lines.
Right.
That was scheduled out of the 1 cent sales tax, the streets drainage, and other capital improvements portion.
Okay.
So the engineering contracts are roughly $75,000, right?
Yes.
All right.
No.
Right, no? surveying,
Yeah, but the
engineering.
project is 238,000 on the,
Says 200.
on the production company.
See, I've got total engineering fee at 17,803, and then construction, observation, or their inspection to be another
38,000.
38,000.
Plus printing and then a surveying of 5,000, right?
Correct. Now, and he doesn't, yeah, you got the calculator.
Yeah, it's
I
right.
usually have
Those
those up.
totals roughly $75,000.
Yeah. And of course, the water lines, we're really nailed on having inspection, and we have certain hoops they have to jump through. They won't even trust me to go inspect.
Okay, so we're wanting to enter a contract for $75,000 for water lines, but neither of which are on the project list for this year, right?
No, but however, with the water, that's part of our $6.50 or $6.25 and $12.50.
Come out of a different.
Yeah, so we actually have that money on hand right now that we could build this whole project.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what I had.
There we go. Now we're on the same page.
Just to clarify, it'll actually come out to 61,000. Because all the things you see, field check set, office check set, final plans, bid documents, and pre-bid management, that all adds up to the total engineering fee. So it'd just be the surveying plus total engineering plus construction, observation, and printing. So it'll be 61 Gs.
Okay. Well, I think it's a smart move to getting stuff prepared for what's coming up there. Danny, so.
And then I'll go ahead and have him do a contract for doing the street so we can have that, but we want to be out ahead with the water line. So.
668.
Is there a way we can get it both in the same contract, so maybe it's not quite 60,000 times two? I don't know. I mean, if it's a package deal and it's the same, you may have a better idea than I do on that, since it's an engineer.
I would like to say yes, but probably not, because the guy that does water lines, his engineer for water lines and that type of infrastructure is not the same guy he does for streets. So I'm gonna say we might save a little bit of money, but I will check with him. I'll talk to him tomorrow.
So this one is strictly for water line replacement?
Correct.
Okay.
And then when we do the streets, of course, Second Street, we'll have to look at drainage as we're replacing the street, because obviously we all know Second and Clay is a serious problem. So as we're redoing the street, we need to address some issues other than just, hey, we're gonna rip the street out and put a new one in. So we want to try and do it correctly.
A lot of that brick underneath there, Daniel?
On Second Street, I think it ends on Pershing, probably.
Ends on Pershing?
Yes, right in there somewhere.
Pershing and German. The rest of it, I think is asphalt. So we're gonna start from scratch.
Yeah.
Urban gutter, everything comes out.
And we are looking at probably narrowing it, 4 feet? So you figure that's gonna reduce the cost some, just narrowing it 4 feet. But it'll be consistent, because if you drive down Second now, it's one width one place, another width. We're just gonna try and make it a consistent straight shot.
Well, I make a motion that we enter into a contract with Earls Engineering, the amount of $61,668 for the Second Street Water Main Replacement Project.
I will second that.
We have a motion to enter into a contract with Earls Engineering in the amount of $61,068, is that correct?
Yes.
For a water line replacement.
Actually, really quickly though, the estimate, should we put like the construction observation is estimated?
So not to exceed?
Or is that allowed or no, or?
Yeah, I mean, you can make the motion not to exceed. You can amend your motion not to exceed the 60.
I'd like to amend my motion not to exceed the $38,000 on the construction observation.
Taylor, can you second?
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion to not exceed $61,068 in the fee for the water line replacement. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Next item is city manager's report.
Well, I don't have a lot to say. I think we've covered pretty much everything tonight. But I really want to thank everybody for the support for our city staff. We're starting to come together. There's a lot less hate and contempt, and I really appreciate that. Staff really appreciates it when they're not worrying about their job every day. But I do want to thank everybody in the community that has supported us through this change, and hopefully we'll go forward. And the other thing I wanted to announce is there will be a joint meeting of city, county, school, and college Wednesday, February 28th at 6 o'clock. It'll be at the community college and room S214 East and West. That's in the student union building. It's above the bookstore. So we will be there, and we would like to see your smiling faces there too. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Let's do items from commissioners. Let's keep this short and sweet, please, so we can get out of here. Would you like to start?
Sure.
Short and sweet and Big Tim.
Yeah, I was going to say, pick the opposite order. I just want to say thank you to everybody in the community that's provided me with support, advice, criticisms, concerns, and just overall participated. Love seeing everybody come to the meetings. Thank you to everybody that presented. So, city staff, keep up the great work, and everybody in the community, please continue to stay involved. Thank you for the support.
I'd like to tell city staff, thank you for getting everything ready for Pancake Day. I want to thank everybody on the board and everybody who helped out with Pancake Day. It's a good thing that happened today, okay? Good community spirit.
Good?
Yep.
Happy Pancake Day, everybody. It was a great day. Congrats to Gabby and City of Liberal for their win. Welcome, Lynn.
Thank you.
Excited to have you on board. Just keep doing great things. Excited to be part of the commission, and looking forward to keep moving Liberal forward.
Okay, I'll keep this short also. Thank the city staff for making Pancake Day look good and everything done. And on behalf of the Depot Heritage Board, thanks for the assistance over on the downtown connectivity, and Karen for Main Street. And we're going to try to get a sidewalk put in there between the tracks too, along with that.
That'll be good.
Because you see people go out in the street, and now that's not under a KDOT, it's under the city. I think we can get that done through the help of the railroad, so. That's it, thank you.
It's looking very nice, Tony. Thank you for your work on that.
Looking great.
And thank you all for coming. We appreciate your smiling faces out there and your comments, and please keep coming back. And I think we had a wonderful Pancake Day, and let's glow in the fun that we had today.
If I may, Rita, talk to Shannon Francis. They're working on a bill up in the legislature. There is companies that have fiber optic going to people's homes for TV and internet. That will be an alternative for Zito Media. Okay, so they're working on that. I think that's an option we're gonna have to go, because I don't see Zito coming in and spending the money to. Okay.
Okay, the next item is the vouchers.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers in $2,046,925.96.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the vouchers and a second in the amount of $2,446,925.96. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Meeting is adjourned.